Okay, today I'm going to be showing you Silent Way by Expert Sleepers. Now what this is a plugin that enables your sound card to become a CV controller. So if you've got the right kind of sound card, that's one with DC coupled outputs, you can use any spare outputs you've got to, as a MIDI to CV gate controller or for LFOs, gates. There's a whole suite of plugins that come with the software, and they're quite, it's quite intensive. There's something similar by Motu called Volta, which isn't quite as sophisticated, and it costs about 5 times as much. Now the Silent Way costs $50, so it's good value for money if you consider, if you were to buy an LFO for your modular, you're probably going to pay, for a quad LFO twice or maybe 3 times as much, depending where you buy it. So it's great value for money. Like I say, you need to have an interface that has the right kind of outputs. Now I've got a Motu 828 Mark III, as you can see here, and this, as I said, the Motu make their own software that does very similar things. So this interface is perfect. I think pretty much all the Motu interfaces are probably going to work with this. So I've got all the outputs going to a snake, and they come to the other side here on a patch bay, and that's all my CV outputs. You do need to make some special cables. If you've got balanced outputs on your sound card, you need to make a cable that leaves the ring floating so that the ring on your interface isn't shorted to ground. There's details of how to make the cables on their websites. Just have a look through there, and that's pretty straightforward. Just leave the ring unconnected, and then you just use connect tip to sleeve on the other end for the mono plug. Okay, so let's have a look at it working. I've got output 1 and 2 here, and this is the Silent Way voice controller, and I'm going to connect these up to the SH101. Okay, that's the CV in gate. Now in the plugin itself, you have on the sidechain input, you want to set this to the input of your synthesizer. So if you haven't got many inputs, you can have to do some chop and changing, but basically for every one you want to run like this, you need to have an input for it so that the plugin can listen to the input as it sends voltages. So that way it gets the scale of, the tuning scale correct. I'll just put this into the middle on the tuning on the SH101. Okay, now I'll just press the calibrate button and it will run through the calibration procedure. And so when I play some keys now, you can hear it's in perfect pitch. Now, the cool thing about the calibration procedure is if you've got an oscillator that's a bit wayward, it doesn't want to track properly, it doesn't matter, because I'll show you, if I turn the tuning on the 101 to maximum, and when I play it now it will sound sharp. Now if I run the calibration procedure again, now when I play the scale again, it's perfect. So I mean, that's a great feature. So if you've got sort of poorly tuned oscillators, that's perfect. So I've got another instance here. I'll close that one. I'll open this one up, and this is set to output 3 and 4, and I'm going to plug this into my A1115, which is basically the Dark Energy module version, or the module version of the Dark Energy rather. And I'll do the same thing. Now this is output 3 and 4, and the sidechain input is, in this case, is 25, and I'll just press calibration. And we've got a slight technical problem there. It's probably because there's not any sound coming from the mixer. I've got it turned down, which would help for this. Okay, let's run that again. Okay, and that's done. And now if I play the scale, you can see it works perfectly. Okay, so let's do another example. I've got some LFOs set up. These are dual LFOs, and I've got two of them. So I've got one on 5 and 6, which I'm going to hook up to my wave multiplier as modulation sources. But first, I'll just show you what this is going to sound like. I'm going to run the triangle wave from the MC202. I'll just turn this round. Okay, the triangle from the MC202 into the wave multiplier. As you can hear, it's just a triangle. Now, this basically gives me 4 phase shifted versions of a sloped waveform. So, they've got CV controllers, so I'm going to set these up with LFOs. So let's get 5 and 6 and put them into CV1 and 2. And now if we come up to the LFO plugin, this is on FreeSync at the moment. I can just turn on some sine wave and I'll apply it here. You can hear the phase shifting already happening. And that's number 2. And let's get 7 and 8 hooked up. And see, it gets kind of crazy. I mean, that's all from basically a triangle wave, which is amazing, really. I mean, the thing is, with these LFOs, you can actually mix shapes. It's not going to be very obvious with the wave shifter, but you could mix. If I don't know if you can see this on the screen. But you can mix wave shapes. So you can get very sort of complex LFOs, and you can also link them together into quadrature mode. So then their clocks are the same, and you can create very sort of wacky LFO shapes. Also, these are time syncable to the host interface. You can run them in free mode. You can run them really fast, really slow, and there's divisors. There's all sorts of things, which is they're really quite versatile. Well, that about sums it up, really. That's just a brief overview of the plugins, and it's just showing that they work on Logic 9 and the Motu 828 Mark III, and with the Roland 101, SH101, and the Doppler A1115, as well as the Wave Multiplier 2, and they're pretty much going to work with all Doppler or Eurorack modules, or anything that accepts 1 volt octave CV control.